Alright, guys, let's get into it. A big best of 7 series, an elimination match here in the PiGFest playoffs. In the bottom left side, it's Basilisk's REYNOR, fresh off a crushing defeat, unfortunately, in ZVZ at the hands of Cyril. His opponent in the top right side, the Protoss player Hero, who's just demolished his match in rather dominant fashion. So you've got the high spirits from Hero. We'll see how well REYNOR handles that frustrating loss that he's been in. Now, this is a very passive opening for Hero. It's a gate scout. He's just going to go across, not block the hatchery at all, and just look to block the minerals a bit. And that's an interesting opening. I really thought Hero would open this series with straight greed. But I think he says, you know what, REYNOR's the guy who might mix a crazy all-in. I'm going to play safe. And that does stagger me a bit, because for those who don't know, Hero's been really struggling in this matchup. He's had some amazing build orders recently, like really cute, cool build orders. Obviously, he played a game. Was it on this map where he played the Mass Blink Stalker style, guys? Or was that a different map against Solar in the group stage? He had an amazing game, Mass Entry Stalker. I did see him yesterday playing a Mega Turtle style on ladder against Cyril, where he went for basically just 2-gate Zealot production into 4-gate Zealot High Templar. Very early Storm. Super turtly off of his Oracle third base. And then he just basically massed Cannon Battery Storm with Immortal Archon. Unfortunately, he got overwhelmed by Roach Baneling. I think he could have probably held on in that game. He was also rushing Mothership Tempest behind it. I think he was worried about Cyril's late game. But I think one of the big things I've criticized of Hero recently that he could really improve is when he's playing the mid-game Zergs, I don't think he needs to be rushing Mothership Tempest. I think this is like actually a weak spot in his play, is where unless you're playing, you know, against Cyril, it kind of makes sense, but against your Solars, your Shins, and your REYNORs, these guys are almost always looking to bust you in the mid-game, trying to overwhelm. They're very rarely rushing to Hive Tech. And as a result, Tempests, which are there for Lurkers, and Mothership, which is also there for like Lurkers, Broodlords, these are kind of luxuries, and I'd really love to see Hero try and establish a quicker 4th base, and then really work into the air only after he sets to dominate the map on 4 bases. But, of course, the details are getting there. Much easier for me to say that from sidelines than for Hero to actually execute it. REYNOR comes out as the favorite in this matchup, I would say. His form has been pretty good outside of that previous match against Cyril, but that is Cyril. And Hero, of course, has been struggling very hard to get wins in the matchup at all. That being said, asked him about it. I said, where are you at in this matchup? And he said, I think there's still a lot for me to learn and figure out. It's just, you know, I've had to basically relearn how to play this matchup from scratch. And it's really hard. And I was like, yep, you could say that again. It is really tough. Having those warp gates cost money now. 25 minerals, 25 gas to transform them. Trying to min-max the regular gateway production, incredibly difficult. And, of course, REYNOR is able to play in a very familiar vein to what he was doing pre-patch as well, which is very nice for him. And very difficult for Hero. All the questions are about how Hero solves the problem of REYNOR here, I think, other than the other way around. Usually I do like to commentate from the point of view of one player who's the underdog and see what are they going to do that's special, because I don't know if REYNOR is going to feel like he needs to do too many curveballs. I expect a melee opening, probably into Hydra Bane, and then swarming from there. I think there'll be an Evo chamber down any moment now. Probes coming forward. Chat says, can the players swap race? Players can swap race. Hero is not willing to swap race until he actually gets good. People said, oh, he said he's going to play ZVZ. Yeah, he said that. And he said he's going to keep trying to learn ZVZ in small weekly tournaments. I asked him immediately. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that in a big tournament. No way. I know my Protoss is way better. He's like, he knows he's not going to beat top pros in ZVZ without practicing it a ton first, guys. He's not delusional. Believe it or not, to be the best Protoss player in the world, you actually need to be pretty intelligent. Hero is not deluded. Oh, no hold position. Ah, sloppy. That Adept would have defended that base on its own. And every Adept kill is actually massive, especially when you're playing this style. He's played Void Rain to Oracle, which is a very slow build-up style. Oh, he's going to play double Robo Colossus, I think, because Robo's already on the way in Forge. I think this is probably double Robo Colossus. Now, one of the biggest problems Protoss is having at the moment is not being able to put fear into Zerg players. If a Zerg feels confident droning 3 bases fully off 1 gas, making melee, and then just taking a lair, droning up, no Roach Warren, no Bane Nest, or in this case, a very late Roach Warren, it just feels like they can get ahead. And this is where we're going to see what Hero can do now. Hero's gone Warp Gate very early, which defensively gives you no advantage whatsoever. And it does cost 50 minerals, 50 gas. So this is kind of the vein of builds, which I was hoping not to see from Hero at the start of the series. I was hoping to see him min-max the gateway usage and the tech units a lot more first. But it is indeed that Robo Bay build that I expected. Only one Robo so far. But he's so turtly right now. Giving Reynor map control like this. We know Reynor is one of the greediest players in the world. He will absolutely love the amount of map control he's being given. Look at the drone count. It's soaring ahead. He's finding himself in a really tough position right now. I think Void Ray, a pretty conservative opening. Gate Scout, pretty conservative. And you can see Reynor is just running away with this. That's a good trade for him. You might think, oh, it's a lot of Zerglings to lose. Zerglings are cheap, guys. He's happy to trade them to clear the Adepts up because now there's no real map presence at all for Hero. He's already droning behind it. He's got a Hydra Den on the way. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see him say pure Hydra Ling. I don't think he's going to even bother with a Bane Nest. One has to wonder. So there's 4 gateways, now 6 gateways. So Hero wants to go for some sort of timing. I think he's maybe decided just having a few warp gates ready to warp in units can be nice. But he's swapping a Sentry production. Ah, Sentry Colossus push. It's been a lot of obsession with sentries lately. Ravages no longer one-shot sentries. And a lot of players, even if they build a Roach Warrant, aren't making Roaches. They're just making Hydraling Bane. Void Ray has not really been worth its weight just yet. It's denied a bit of vision, but look, Reynor's coming in for the scout. He sees the 3-base setup. He's got the Massling on the map. And I really think in this meta, I was hoping that Hero would find a sharp Glaive Adept timing or something like that to punish. Or some sort of, macro charge build. But I think if you let Reynor be this greedy, it's so tough. And the fact that Hero is behind in workers from quite early on, this feels like the sort of game which is tough for him. On the other hand, Reynor scouted the Robo Bay, and he's kind of tangled up tech-wise. He's gone Ling Hydra, but now he's building Roaches and Roach Speed because he's like, well, actually, I got to worry about the Colossus. But now I need Banelings as well, and an Infestation for... Reynor's doing a lot of things at once. He's far enough ahead, he can probably get away with it, but it does make me wonder if there's a scary 3-base push. I think one of the biggest problems Heroes had is letting Zergs take 5 bases and getting stuck on 3 base in general. So even when he survives the early game, trades decently well, if he can't hit a really sharp timing off of this, it's going to be very hard to do damage. Right now, he's got 2 Oracles and a Void Ray at home. His wall is wide open. I'd love to see him just build a pylon there, guys. I think this is pure insanity that he doesn't just do this by default. That just seems like it's so basic for a guy who never leaves a unit in his door to do this, right? He doesn't do it. Luckily, the stasis traps hold him off, but I just feel like why make things so complicated for yourself, you know? He's going to go across the map. Warp Prism is there as well. It's a big, scary army. Reynor has built a very advanced army, but his upgrades aren't all there yet. Remember, Ravagers don't break those force fields immediately. Reynor's built 82 workers, every tech under the sun, but most of them haven't fully kicked in yet. He doesn't even have groove spines for his Hydras. He's pulling into a choke point. Reynor getting way too convoluted on the tech. Hero's pushing in. The Lings are going to go into his base. Hero leaving the door open for no good reason whatsoever. But Reynor is panicking right now because, of course, there's a massive Protoss army in his natural. Reynor trying to refuse the engagement until the moment's right. Force field in between those buildings would be absolutely brilliant. Reynor thinks about moving through there. Hero wanted him to step through so the army could get split up. Evo Chamber goes down, but +2 melee does finish. Hero's entire economy has been murdered. Not for any good reason either. Those Lings were not going to be useful against Colossus in the main fight. That's so unfortunate. Hero could have been mining off 3 base the whole time. Stalker, Colossus, Sentry fighting as well as they can. The Roach Ravager running forward. The Spore Crawler will eventually deal with that Void Ray, it looks like. Does he have any Hydras left? The Void Ray does die to the Spore Crawler's last shot. Force fields coming down all over the shop. So many sentries in this game. The Lings are going to try to come in from behind. Hero's army supply up by 25. This is a slick Colossus timing. And even though his opening didn't look very promising, Reynor played so afraid in this game and so heavy on so many different tech paths rather than committing hard to one. And it looks like Hero is able to just take him out with a really nice timing. I think there's a reasoning to not wall off your base, to go for the stasis trap. Reynor desperate. He needs massive biles. Takes out a few sentries, but he loses all of his low ground Ravages. There's Overlords here dying. I mean, Reynor's income is insane, by the way. He's mining 1,000 minerals more a minute than Hero. I just don't know if he ever gets the units to defend this position. You're meant to be ahead in army supply when you're on Roach Ravager, not behind. Oh, that army moves up that ramp. The Ravagers are going to pull away. Remember that Colossus do more damage versus Roaches. And generally, any non-light unit, they do more damage. It's 2 times 12 rather than 2 times 10 pre-patch. One of those little changes that's gone under the radar a bit. That plus the nerf to Storm has made Colossus play more attractive than it's ever been, and Storm play less attractive than it's been in a long time. Queen's coming forward, they're focusing the Colossus. The Prism's not in range, that ready point Colossus. You gotta keep your Colossus alive. If the Colossus goes down, you can't deal with the drones and the Zerglings and all this sort of stuff. The Prism's in trouble, slow Zealots warping on the right side, but the Stalkers are tanking. And look at that, the Colossus even stopping to shoot drones. These Queens, they might not be dying, but they're not doing a lot of damage. And Hero is going to take a shocking game 1 there with a wild 3-base diving. Is that not the most Hero game you've ever seen, guys? That's a very Hero versus REYNOR game. Because there's a few factors to it. Hero doing a very weird build, super early warp gate without a real purpose for it. So defensive and turtley, feels like he's just given up all economic advantage. Doesn't really get much harassment going. REYNOR's got full map control. But then REYNOR, I think, overthinking things and trying to tech to 4 different army units at once. Don't get me wrong, Hydraling Bane's not amazing versus that army, but I think it's a hard spot. And REYNOR, he might want to either open Roach Ravager, go Spire, or go Quicker Hive by default if he's expecting more of these Robo Bay plays in future. All right. The Mad Lad Hero himself at the bottom left side of the map, dropping an early chrono. REYNOR in the top right side. As much as I love Hero winning there, I've got to call the game like I see it. I actually feel like Hero's opening was not amazing. I think he put himself in a position where he was behind. I think Gateway Scout's especially bad this patch. You want to either scout early and block their base or do a no scout. I also think that he was going Void Ray first is very expensive. 100 minerals more than an Oracle. Costs so much more, and I just think the Oracle has a bit higher impact. I also would have loved to see a bit more, Adept pressure. I think every Zerg is rushing melee at the moment. And this was happening pre-patch as well. And a lot of the Protoss players are not punishing it. And I get it's hard to punish, but I think with a bit more forward... I've seen him against Solar and some of the other guys go for 8 Adepts. Even without Glaives, it just forces a massive Zergling, slows down the droning. And it actually can work really nicely to just slow down what they intend. Nice hero wall. I actually like the hero walls at the moment, guys. Because I think if you can take a third off one gate, it's really efficient. Cybercore can go there. Openings on the inside of the wall, assuming he takes this third. I actually don't mind this hero wall, even though it is absolutely a hero wall with a clear weakness there. He can always reinforce the wall later. And it is, you need the pylon in the wall if you want to wall off with just one gate and one Cybercore. I think REYNOR played much worse than Hero last game. Is that controversial? Yes, it's Kindle Cloud Reader. Overall, I think in terms of what won the game, Hero did the better things to win the game. Well, I'm criticizing the opening setup because I think he gave REYNOR an advantage. I think what REYNOR did with that advantage, he scouted the Colossus and then tried to swap into kind of a logical, I'll go Roaches, I'll go Lurkers, I'll probably go Vipers as well, which does counter Colossus, but he wasn't in time to do it, right? And there's a world where he gets away with that, but I think especially against a 3-base player, might have been better for REYNOR to just commit to more Hydras. He definitely should have gone Groove Spines as well. And maybe even play Hydraling Bane into Viper. You know what I mean? So REYNOR could have gone Viper and just threatened the base trade. Obviously, the Vipers aren't going to be in time for the first push, so you've got to kind of go around. But if you can stop at maybe like 70, 75 workers as REYNOR, that could work out. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm sorry for the lag there. Just to interrupt the thought process. But essentially... yeah, there's a situation where often against Protoss, or just in general, if someone does a 3-base all-in, if you can counterattack, threaten the base trade, sometimes you can buy enough time to then be greedy and get to Vipers, and suddenly Hydra Bane, you got Vipers to take the Colossus, then suddenly it's a good comp all over again. But there's this hard point where when you get to Lurkers or you get to Vipers, everything clicks, and it works out really nicely. Pig always finds fault with anything Hero does. What do you think I just said about REYNOR as well? I mean, to be fair, have you ever played it, seen him play a clean, perfect game? I mean, if Hero plays a clean, perfect game, I'll be the first person to praise it, but it almost never happens. I mean, I love the fanboys. I love that you guys love Hero. I love Hero as well. He's one of my favorite people, both in person and the way he plays. But yeah, if you leave a pylon open, you see him leave the pylon open and lose 30 workers for no reason. And you're like, well, Pig's just hating. I mean, I don't know what to say to you guys. I don't know if we can even commentate the StarCraft game without triggering you guys, if that's the case, Void Ray first again. I actually really disliked where the Void Ray opening put him in the last game. But you know what the Void Ray advantage is? It denies scouting. In the last game, he did nothing with that scouting denial in the opening. This time, early second gate, early Twilight, he does not want to let Reynor get away with the fast melee mass ling greed again. I love it. This is, and you can see how game one leads into this because Hero so often opens Void Ray and just builds an Oracle behind it, takes a third, chills. Now, the scouting tell for this is if you see no Oracle on time behind the Void Ray, which is a very tricky scouting tell. But if you notice no Oracle, that can actually tip you off as Reynor to, oh, I need a Bane Nest or a Roach Horn, and immediately chronoing Glaives. Okay, I think that the more important thing often is actually building the Adepts. Now, this is a weird thing, guys. He'd be better off canceling that Adept and restarting it because of Warp Gate finishing. This is a weird thing you got to get used to with the gateways because it doesn't reset the build time. If it's like, it should really update the build time, but it doesn't. So the other one's taking 16 seconds. It's taking so long, right? 33 seconds to build, which is a weird little detail that unfortunately Hero didn't pick up on in that moment. Quick Lair coming in for Reynor. Wow, very quick Lair. Reynor's trying to rush either straight to Hydras or straight to Mutas. Probably Hydralisks. Could pay off big time if he gets it. He does build his safety Roach Horn. He hasn't seen an Oracle yet. I think that's a very logical choice. He's got third gateway building now, does Hero. I think it's unfortunate that Adepts, even after Warp Gate, still take 2 seconds longer than Stalkers and Zealots to build. 16 rather than 14 seconds. It's part of why Adept timings are so hard to do. Which is why often you go 3 gates, you make 6 Adepts, you then transform, warp in 3 more Adepts, and you hit a 9 Adept timing. The Adept in, the Hero wall-off strikes again. It's nearly impossible to have your Adepts in the correct position in that wall-off, but he does take out a few Zerglings. The problem is, he reveals the Adepts, and now that gives a lot of time for Reynor to get ready, but Reynor doesn't have a lot of gas. I think he needs to build that Evo Chamber wall. If the Adepts are going forwards, looks like these rocks got torn down. Wait, who tore those rocks down, guys? Was that Reynor? That's a really smart move. That massively slows down this Adept timing. If it was the Void Ray that did it, that's a bad move for Hero. But if Reynor did it, that's very clever. Hero did it, says chat. No way. He slowed down his own Adept timing. The Adept's going in right now. The Ling Roaches with a really good position. Oh, nice handling this. Reynor seeing this by getting through the Adept in the wall-off is actually so good. Massive damage going in. Adept shading around. They're going to try and find some damage. He's into Blink and +1 behind it. But overall, a very good hold for Reynor. Reynor should be miles ahead after that. That being said, Reynor does not have a 4th base nor Roach speed. And he is going to go for a Queen drop Ravagerling all in. Hero is on Blink. He's making a 4th and 5th gateway though. And he's making Stalkers in gateway mode. If he builds pylons and stuff, I think he's in a good spot. I mean, I know he threw his units away, so he's far enough behind, but like everything he's doing is the right things to defend this. It's just he's far behind from the opening. But these 2 Adepts could shade in and kill a bunch of drones. He's got a Void Ray up front that could force the Overlord to drop once or twice. Oh no, he chases the Zerglings. No, the Void Ray pulls away. He was like an inch from seeing this. And now, distracted, Hero thinking about taking a 4th base. He does not realize the situation he's in right now. The Adepts will shade in. Seeing not many units there, but lots of Lings popping out. Might tell him what's happening though. But that army's about to come out of the fog of war. I think knowing Hero, he probably would have liked to transform Warp Gates here at some point. He's putting a lot of Stalkers, a lot of Zealots trying to defend. He's only got 8 Stalkers and a Void Ray together though. Blink is not quite ready, neither is +1. Oh no, his tech is just a little bit late. Those 2 Stalkers pop out of the wrong side. He should have rallied those to the left. Unfortunate there for Hero. I love the stasis trap, but it gets biled. Only gets a few units. Nice energy recharge there. The probes are going to come forwards, but I think he's got to give this base up. And if he does that, well, 2 base against 3 base, not going to be enough. A bit too far behind from too early. I love the idea with the Adept timing, but Reynor getting in with those Lings and seeing it just gave him so much time to prepare. Those rocks being taken down, delaying the push as well. I don't know why he did that one. It's good to do later in the game, but in the start, it slowed down his Adept timing. That Adept getting across the map as quick as possible was everything with this build. It's very hard to hit a crisp Adept timing though. 33-second build time on Adepts, and they take longer to build on gateways. I think those are some nerfs that need to be removed pretty damn quickly. These Stalkers trying to dance in and out right now. Oracles and Void Rays are still alive. Hero is a magician. I've seen him win from very bad situations. This might be a bit too much. Oracle Void Ray tries to overwhelm the Queens. The Stalkers trying to take out as many Ravagers as they can, but the Oracles and the Void Rays cannot take care of that. Hero knows if he doesn't defeat this army, Rain is on 3 base going to 4, and he is absolutely screwed. There's a Spire on the way as well, and that's going to be a GG, I think. Lambo's build. He's doing the Lambo Bambo Express, says chat. Have we given it a new name? It's not the German taxi anymore. It's the Lambo Bambo Express. Okay. Not a bad name, guys. I like it. Ravager's getting blinked on. Wow, sick trade there for... Guys, you can't win this game from here. There's only 6 Roaches, 3 Ravagers, 9 Zerglings. You can't win this game from here. It's not physically possible, is it? His name is Hero. He knows nothing that is impossible. He only knows that he can try to take down his opponent, and he will absolutely try to do that here. He's desperate. The Queens are tanking so well. He's trying to push forwards. He's got to blink back those weak stalkers. He starts to. He's actually cleaving through Reynor's units. Reynor does not have roach speed. Reynor's unupgraded roaches are not the unit to defend this man. He needs more Zerglings, but he's not got enough hatchery production. The stalkers are getting crazy damage just when you count him out. Just when you count him out. Hero will not be put down. This man is a freak. He's rebuilt a third binder. He's starting to probe. Oh my lord. Hero, Stalker Micro, name a more iconic duo. What an absolute freak. I can't believe he's actually in a decent spot now. Obviously, if he loses this army, it's still lights out. Reynor has a 4th base, has a 15 worker advantage. These Stalkers need more value, but roach speed was forgotten for so long, and that lack of an upgrade is absolutely ruining Reynor right now. Hero, I cannot believe it. He's pushing through. He's actually breaking down the Queens. That's every Queen on the front goes down. The Stalker's still out microing the Roach Ravager. Roach Ravager doesn't do that much damage. He moves forward, dodges the Biles by stepping in front of Reynor and punching him in the face. A random sentry walks across the map to add insult to injury and says, bro, look at my torch, my flashlight. Activates a random Guardian Shield, shines his light in the Roach's eyes. Reynor blinking, going, what the hell? You're blinding me. Stop putting that torch in my eyes. He does take the sentry down. A lot of the Stalkers starting to fall. Is this an overextension for Hero? It definitely is. He's got to get out of there. He's going to have to holster his bad boy and calm down and make the next step. 60 workers to 53, though. It's a playable position now. Hero is back in it. The Mad Dog, Reynor. He's forgetting that roach speed, man. Very, very rough for him. He's got to transfer from the main over to this 4th base. He's actually just replacing the workers on his 3rd for now. But if he had roach speed earlier, I think that's a very different situation. Units lost tab was actually really good for Reynor during and after his push. But it's now reversed to about 1,000 resources in Hero's favor. Hero's going to go for the old, hey, look at me. That Stalker literally just gave the finger to Reynor's army. Reynor ran at him angrily, said, oi, get out of here. And the Stalkers are going to dive in and go for the old snipe the hatchery. Oh, the Lings, though. The Ling count's good. He loses 2 Stalkers there, and I think he's going to lose 2 more. 4 Stalkers is a lot of units to lose when you are so poor. 8 Mutas are on the way as well. Reynor already had that Spire invested in. He's in such a good spot still. Hero staying in gateway modes made a really big difference in his production. He did actually morph his first 3 gateways into warp gates to hit his adept timing, but that adept timing fell flat. Funnily enough, that was kind of the weakest moment of this game, but since when he was doing his Stalker counterattack, it was all gateway production. He's been all gateway production since then, and he's pumping these units out very quickly off just 5 gates. He does build a 6th gateway now. I don't think he actually needs that 6th gateway. As you can see, I don't think he can really afford to spend it on 3 base. I think a 4th base would have been a better investment there, but see how it goes. Nice Biles here. Ooh, Stalkers are going to blink forward. Some Zealots to deal with the Lings. Going to try and jump on top, but Reynor with some really good micro. The fact that the Creep is still here is massive. Mutas hit the main base, and I think Reynor, despite no doubt getting a bit tilted by how scary that Stalker counterattack was, he is butchering Hero's economy. The main base has gone down. The natural is falling. And I think that will be the Mutas finally sealing the deal. I mean, Reynor should get out of here with his main army. It's kind of getting jumped on. But he does intercept a lot of Stalkers on the left. The fight's messy enough that the Lings are doing really well. And these Stalkers are such valuable units. Hero's going to have to tap out, but he makes it shockingly close. Reynor, you can see leaning forward there. Looks like he's moving around so much. I'm going to have to move his camera around, aren't I? Was Reynor in frame during the game, guys? I don't even know. You guys let me know. These players getting intense. They're moving around. All right, guys. Game 3 of the best of 7 Hero on the bottom left side of Old Sun Temple. Reynor in the top right. It's a PvZ for the ages. I can't believe Hero almost brought that back. His opening was really rough. And he's going to go for the high ground wall off. Okay. So I think this is because he's doing a no scout build. And he's like, if Reynor does a crazy all-in, I don't want to die to it, but I still want to do a really greedy build. So if I go for a high ground base, there's like more of a chance of me defending than on the natural. But I can still here go for something like a Nexus first, or a Gate Nexus with then gas after. Yeah, no Probe Scout as expected. Reynor's going to go to the left side. This is, of course, cross map as we said, and Reynor will be heading out to take that natural on 15 supply. Man, I'm so curious. to see, like, would that adept timing have done more if he didn't break those rocks down? Because I feel like that gave time for like 4 or 5 more roaches to come out, and where he ended up shading on the natural was really bad as well. I feel like if he arrived in the natural, shaded into the main while walking towards the third, that's a much scarier shade angle. And like REYNOR has to split his army way more. Spawning pool does go down. I really feel like this is kind of the secret to the meta right now. I think of, there's been a lot of periods over the last few years where basically if Protoss can make Zerg a bit frayed, they play safe roaches every game, they're a bit safer, a bit higher on queens, Zerglings, roaches, a bit slower on droning. It just kind of ends up nice. This is Cybercore before Nexus. Wait, why is he going Cybercore before Nexus? Is he going to chrono 2 adapts? Because if you're not chronoing 2 adapts, this is just a much less efficient opening in terms of economy. And yeah, I've seen him doing this with no scout builds multiple times recently. Pylon is going to be not in time to build the adapts. Does he still double chrono? No, he's Stalker. Oh! He's going to try and get a Stalker to kill an Overlord. This is... I don't like this opening. What a weird... Like, what advantage do you... I guess if he spawns there, you might be able to kill his Overlord with a Stalker, but it's unlikely you catch this one. Maybe you get one out in the middle of the map? I don't know if one Overlord is worth the fact that you're not going to be able to pressure on the ground. And look at this, REYNOR no Zergling. Super greed. I love the greed. He's like, I'm playing Hero. Hero's probably not even going to probe scout this map. Stalker comes out. He's going to go hunting for Overlords. Unlikely to find one with the path that he's taken. And it's Twilight first. He's going to play ground style. Ooh, very cool. I know Harston and Lambo were both playing some really cute ground-based, no Stargate, like heavy sentry openings off of 2-gate. I don't think you can afford a Twilight with builds like that, though. This is, yeah, super economy. Double chrono on the probes. Wow. Obviously, REYNOR's gone Link Speed. He's pulled off gas completely. Playing Hero, casting Hero does often make me turn into Owen Wilson, guys. I'm just kind of going, wow. Oh, it's a charge all in, is it? No, it's Glaives, but what? He's fully pulled off gas. What? So he got enough gas for a Stalker, 2 Adepts, Twilight Glaives, Warp Gate, and he's completely pulled off gas. But now he's making 2 gates and a forge. This build is like a drunk man's paradise. What? And now he's making 5 gate and a forge, but he's not mining gas, which means he can't make adepts. And he's making zealots. He thinks he made charge. He's doing a zealot attack, but he thinks he's made charge, right? No. Or unless it's a fake out. Is it 300 IQ fake out, or has he made the wrong upgrade? Oh, I really want this to work. I love creative build orders. Hero's been so creative this patch, but I don't know, man. I think this is a +1 zealot all in. It is. He's making another zealot. He's made the wrong upgrade, man. He's chronoing. Oh, no. He's made the wrong upgrade, man. Remember, he can't see this. We can see this. This is part of the observer interface. He can only see the upgrade if he clicks it. He doesn't have the production tab. He doesn't have that. He has to click on it, which there's no reason for him to do. Oh, no. He's going to do a Glaive Adept Zealot all in with +1. It's like that one guy in the chat. He's like, well, here, Pig always finds something. I'm on his side, guys. I'm on his side. This would have been a legitimately super cool build. Like, almost no gas mining. Just a massive Zealots running across the map. Glaives kicks in. He's like, why aren't my Zealots running any faster? Watch Hero's face, guys. Watch Hero's face. Oh, he looks a little surprised. He looks a little surprised. He's like, wait, what's happening? Why aren't they moving faster? This is his camera. I'm watching his face. Is there a reaction? He's realized. He's clicked his Twilight. He's just realized. Oh, there we go. He's just realized. He's clicked his Twilight. He's gone, oh, God, but he doesn't have gas. He's making Adepts now. He's realized, wait, I made Glaives. I should probably make some Adepts. Oh, this is a disaster, guys. It's a slow Zealot pressure. 5.5 minutes into the game. REYNOR is panicking. He's making a Rotron. He's making Lings, a Spine Crawler. These Zealots, they have they're +1. +1's not even ready, actually. The Zealots need to fight the Zerglings. He needs to shuffle the Zealots south so they fight the Zerglings. Otherwise, they're not going to trade well there because the Queens can tank. The Zerglings cannot. The Zerglings are the damage dealers. And look at that. Even the Queen survives. I think he gets maybe 5 Zerglings. By 14. But for 9 Zealots, it's a very bad trade. And that's so unfortunate, man. Charge makes them so much faster. Makes it such a scarier attack. They get across the map faster. Harder to stop as well. But Hero, unfortunately, not able to make it happen here. And These Zealots running around trying to deny a fourth base. He goes, oh, at least there's no fourth, but he's just making Adepts right now into Roaches. And this one is a disaster. I genuinely think Hero does stuff like this on purpose. There's no... There's no way. There's always people like, no, pro gamers are perfect. They never make mistakes. You guys know how hard this game is. There's so many things to manage. It's a shame because that's got to be a hotkey, right? Surely it's like the hotkey for Glaives is next to charge, and this happens once in every like 250 games. But man, for it to happen here is so annoying. Nice wall off just in time. Needs to warp in the Adept behind that as well. He's got a big Zealot Adept timing, guys. The Zealots are still slow. The Adepts are ranged. He's going to shade past. He's actually kind of a sick Protoss army, but he's not warped in any units at home, which is crazy. Of course, it's Hero. He's all offense, no defense, all gas, no breaks. Zealots on top of the Roaches and Queens. Adepts trying to shade in, but they are getting taken out by these Roaches. Ling's getting in. The Adepts trying to deal with it. He's going to go into the main base as well. Glaives getting into that main, but he's losing most of the Zealots. Quite a few of the Roaches and Queens did go down. Zealots have very good stats, but at the same time, Probes are fighting Zerglings in the main base. He's taking massive damage there. Drone count does start to drop. Reynor, of course, finding himself in a stressful situation, but is it going to be one where Hero comes out on top? I hear Todd's voice echoing somewhere. Like, look at the supply! And of course, Reynor does take it out. Unfortunate, tragic game there. I think it was always going to be a little hard to make that work, but that's obviously tragic. If you don't have charge, it just loses everything. There could have been a really cool transition off of that, where you're constantly like running Zealots around and making a third, but unfortunate. Reynor, though, very happy to take a 2-1 lead. All right, guys. Hero in the bottom right side of the map. Reynor in the bottom left side of the map. And I was just saying to chat, I wonder if you really need +1 weapons for an attack like that. It helps the Zealots. Don't get me wrong. Good damage against Roaches, Queens. The main reason is it allows you to 2-shot rather than 3-shot Zerglings. I feel like once you get to about 10 Zealots, they do so well versus Zerglings anyway that you actually don't need it. So I'm actually a big fan of this. And obviously, I'm not saying the Forge build is bad, but I think it might be slightly better with a build like that if you actually just hit faster earlier and you don't even wait for +1. Because even if he did the timing correctly, his +1 wasn't going to be ready in time. His build was actually mistimed for Hero there. And I think in general, players often miss the window where it's most effective. It's often like, it's kind of like how a lot of Zergs will try to hit a +1 Roach timing against Protoss or something like that. And often, if you just go without +1, you can actually catch the Protoss when they've got like 3 Stalkers, an Immortal, and an Oracle or something. There's like nothing there, and you just overwhelm. But you wait the extra 30, 40 seconds for +1 range. Your 20 Roaches hit way harder. It seems like that should be good. But often, the kind of window where your opponent's not prepared for an attack does close rather quickly. There's a very sharp line between a guy who's got 8 Roaches and 6 Queens on the front and can shut down the Zealots, and a guy who's just got 20 Zerglings and nothing else. I think the danger obviously comes with not getting +1. They defend you with mass Zergling and full surround. So you kind of need to try to keep your Zealots in a bit of a tight ball against someone who's very heavy on Zerglings. But I think with the lava production issues that Zerg has building heavy Zergling armies, cool thing. Like to see people try it out. This is a much more standard opening, guys. Nexus into core. I'm still wondering why Hero went for such an early Cyber Core in that last game. I think maybe if it's horizontal spawns, maybe the Overlord can see too much if you don't get an early Stalker, so he just wants to deny scouting there. I do feel like with an attack that hits that late, the Nexus before Cybercore would usually be my first instinct. Hero's used up his botched build order there. Gave Reynor the lead, but see what happens. This map, actually, yesterday, it was the opposite of these spawns where he played Cyril on European Ladder. And he had a pretty greedy setup. I would love to see an Oracle first opening for Hero. I think it's a bit faster to get across the map, a bit harder for Zerg to deal with. And Reynor's not usually the best scouter anyway. So I think against Cyril, a Void Ray does a little bit more in that you're denying the best scouting player in the world scouting. Reynor and Dark, I've always put in a bucket as guys who often just like kind of go off vibes. They pick a thing that feels fun. They'll harass you or try to, get in there with Lings to do damage, and that'll give them information. But they're not quite as deep with their Overlord sacrifices and things like that. But it's Void Ray again. Heroes loving those Void Rays. Guys, am I misremembering? Did they make Void Rays 200 minerals now? Because I know they were 250 a while back. I can't remember if they made them 200 minerals when they also... Because there was a bunch of nerfs the very last Blizzard patch before they stopped co-op commanders. And then maybe they just nerfed the... I know they removed like the build time nerf and maybe something else. But no, there's still 250 minerals, 150 gas. So still 100 minerals more than an Oracle. Very expensive. And of course, he will go down there and catch this Overlord. The Overlord's going to go deep. This is often what you do, guys. You try to hide as close to their minerals as possible because they think you're going to try and escape. So often you try and actually hide close and they'll kind of go, oh, where is he? And they'll be hunting out there for a bit and then they'll have to double back to get you if they're paying a lot of attention. Second Void Ray? Oh my. We're going full Sky Toss maybe. I've been very unimpressed with Hero Sky Toss builds this season. I've seen them fall flat a lot. I don't know how good REYNOR is against Sky Toss though. I haven't seen him play against it, but like Solar's been really good against it. Good Void Ray micro with the Adept. Nicely done. Did he just show the second Void Ray, guys? I think he might have just shown the second Void Ray. If he just showed the second Void Ray, that's pretty bad. He's building a third and he's chronoing it. 4 gases. I mean, we're about to see Hero commit, guys. And the question is, does he go 3 Void Ray and then just play a normal ground game? It's like it's all a fake out? Or are we going to see... Yeah, Forge, Fleet Beacon. All right, Forge goes down. I think Fleet Beacon's next up. I believe that we are seeing a full Sky Toss game. I think this is one of the worst plays in this matchup, but that's me. I'm biased against it. I think it's a bad play for Hero's skill set. We'll see how he does with it. I think the Forge is just for cannons, but still no Fleet Beacon. I mean, I keep assuming Fleet Beacon has to go with Forge. It's like he thinks just by building 4 Void Rays, he's going to bait REYNOR into an all-in, defend it with cannons. I don't know. I feel like Hydra Bane's going to crush. Fleet Beacon does go down. Void Rays find themselves a queen. It's only 5 queens on this map. It's a nice pick-off. It's very low intensity, though. Look at this worker advantage. REYNOR's already up 63 versus 49 workers. It's far ahead. Fleet Beacon is just for the mothership, guys. He's going to make a mothership cannon battery. Now air weapons on the way. Still making Void Rays off one Stargate. So Void Rays are annoying, and they do great damage versus armored. So if you guys are wondering what Zerg units are armored, Overlords. Very good versus Overlords. Corruptors and Roaches. Not against Lings, Queens, Hydras, or Banes. Which are the units which REYNOR's going for. Void Rays. Take out 1 queen. Good micro on that Void Ray. Pulls back the weak one. He's trying to like bait REYNOR to target it. REYNOR's not taking the bait. Oh my gosh, he's going to take out a few more queens. This is really nice. REYNOR, where the heck are the rest of his queens? Out of position. He didn't pull behind the Spore Crawler there. And he's not building Hydras, actually. He's massing Zerglings right now. Cannon battery's going down. Mama's on the way. Mama's going to get here before any Hydras. This is like a mass Ling attack. What is... Wow, REYNOR's still building Zerglings. Finally makes some Hydras, but REYNOR... Guys, look at him. He's freaking out a little bit. Oh, man. He's losing all of his queens. They did not need to come out here and fight. He's going to lose them all. He's only got 5 Hydras building. He just built another 40 Zerglings. The spawning pool goes down. I don't know if the spawning pool really matters that much. That Red Hit Point Void Ray looks like an easy snipe there for REYNOR if he targets it. Hero chasing a little bit far. I think a pullback's perfectly fine here. Twilight Council goes down. So it's single Stargate pumping Void Rays all game. Mama's going to come out. Baneling Zergling is going to come in. The cannons are very clumped. There's a sentry, but it doesn't have much energy. Energy recharge on that could be really clutch. There's no oracles, no stasis traps, which are normally a big part of defending attacks like this. He's got more batteries coming down, and he's building a robo. I think he's going to go Colossus behind this, potentially. What a weird play here for Hero as he takes the southernmost base. A sneaky base down there. REYNOR not expecting that. He's thinking you're going to take this base like a sane person. Because this one down here is hard to defend. It's also hard to attack this for Zerg, though. And he sees no drones on the 4th of REYNOR, which tells you just need to survive. Double Evo goes down, which is actually REYNOR pivoting to economy after getting scouted by that hallucination. So REYNOR's going to drone up. I actually think this is like economically perfectly fine for Hero. The problem is right now, his army does not scale well against Mass Hydra, but because REYNOR's kind of droning, kind of going double upgrades, it looks like I think Hero has the time to get away with this. Overseer goes down. Void Ray does take care of it. Did REYNOR see what he was up against? He saw the Twilight. He knows there's a ground swap going on. Charge, Psy Storm, High Templar warping in. He's playing Warp Gate rather than Gateway, which is a little bit of an odd choice, but I think it's because he's kind of worried about getting units running in if he's trying to rally in and out. He doesn't want to get caught in a chaotic situation, you know? More cannon battery in the south. Reynor's just droning. So Reynor's going to go to late game from a negative position, and we're going to see him test out his late game against heroes. Now, I'm the first to criticize heroes late game. I think his late game sky toss is really weak. I think his late game ground game is some of the best in the world. Recalling around, using a few Tempests with Immortals, Arc on Storm, all that stuff, top tier. But if he goes like carriers, I don't like it. So looking at this production tab, I think it's really good for hero. He never committed to more than one Stargate. He built 8 Void Rays off one Stargate. He's going to go try and snipe the Hive and stuff, which we know there is no Hive, just a lair. There's plenty of Hydras defending it, but he's going to be annoying while just swapping to a really standard ground game, which I think is absolutely hero's best play in this situation. He's putting himself in excellent position. Overseer coming through the main. Reynor is very good at late game. But there's often one moment where, you know, he picks at them for a while, gets some good value, and then they force one big fight, just crush him. But he's really good in like the skirmishes and the harassment. So if he can create a lot of movement, a lot of ling run buys, he's good. He did, of course, finally scout this base down the bottom. The fact he didn't know about that for so long was really rough. Tempests are building, or Tempest, I should say. He's just going to build one at a time. But the Hive's only now getting close to finished, which is really very late tech for Reynor. Luckily, he's got the double ups, which will allow him to round that out. But if he doesn't get Spire upgrades, he's also going to struggle to deal with the Tempest later on. I definitely think a Viper or two would be amazing. Just having a Parasitic Bomb or two to supplement the anti-air. He's on a massive Hydras. 28 Hydras, 27 Banelings morphing. Hero's army is very small. And it really is this sort of delicate army that can destroy vast numbers of Zerg. Or it can just get wrecked if Banelings hit his High Templar when he's not looking. Remember, High Templar Storm, it's a zoning tool more than ever these days. 100 damage over about 6 seconds. Oh, he's recalling the Void Rays here. He's going to keep pushing. Cute. Cute maneuver. Void Rays aren't going to help protect your High Templar. One of the big problems potentially here. 8 gateways are up. They're all transformed into warp gates. So he gets to play a pretty comfortable style. The Zealots and Archons take care of these Zerglings. They do get an Immortal. Oh, he does get the Immortal with one last Zergling claw. Second Stargate's on the way. Remember, there's no Plasma Shield upgrades. Plus 2 air weapons just now coming in. But only 1-1 for Zerg as well, so it still feels like a really weird game where these 6 High Templar counter the entire Zerg army, but a flank on those High Templar could be game-changing. Maxed out versus maxed out. Hero goes for the cloak, drops the storms, drops the time warp. Beautiful spell usage for Hero. He tries to pull away. The storms are great, but the Banelings crashing in from all sides. The last High Templar goes down on the right side. The Hydras and the Lings do eat the Psystorm. They are heavily damaged. Carriers are going to start up behind this. He's making more Zealots. Most sane people rebuild their splash damage in situations like this. Hero is not sane. He would love to A-move a battle again. Makes more Zealots. Doesn't have a single bit of splash damage in his army. 2 Archons, I guess. He's like, no, no, no. And he's going to go carriers. Now, if you get to a massive carriers, they're really good against Hydras. Right now, there's 25 Hydras. 2 carriers is almost worthless. And against Ultras, they do almost no damage as well. Especially with 3rd Evo getting Carapace now. Which will, he's only ahead by 1 upgrade. Once Chitinous Plating comes in, Ultras will do well. Definitely needs another Robo to get a few more Immortals. 2 or 3 Robos building Immortals, and he needs more High Templar gathering energy for Storms. There we go. Energy Recharge has a Storm available. Takes time to build these up. He's not built a cannon in his main or his natural. He's going to recall to deal with the Ling Run by. Definitely should have a cannon in each base now. Main base still cannonless. You know, in Elden Ring, they basically make fun of you for being an Omega Verge by just being like, you're maidenless. In this game, we make fun of Hero and his main base for being cannonless. What can I say? I think he feels that his probes... You guys ever see like a rich person and they're just like, how will my employees like know that they need to work hard if they have P breaks? You know, stuff like that. I think Hero has that attitude about his probes in the main base. He's like, protection? How will they work hard if they don't fear a Zergling running in at any moment and murdering them? And I'm like, I feel like they're going to mine the same minerals either way. His army's very weak to Ultras. Ultras clear this whole army. Ultras could clear the whole army. There's 7. There's 7 Ultras. There's so many. Prism drop in the main, though. Zealots are going to do big damage. Ultra Hydra with the counterattack. Reynor's only got a small army here. It's only 3 Ultras and a handful of Hydras. But if he can defend with that while counterattacking, brilliant maneuver for Reynor. Ultra Hydra, my favorite composition from Heart of the Swarm. Ask any pro gamer what they think of this comp in late game of this matchup in 2026. They'll say it's trash. Reynor says, hold my beer. and slaps some pizza down. He says, this is how we do it Italian style, mother trucker. Ultras and Hydras just running rampant on the south. He does give up a base. Finally, he's going to get rid of this prison with the queen. If he can get on top of those High Templar, it would be pretty nice. At the end of the day, he gets 20 probes. Unfortunately, his economy's really bad. He didn't even have a 5th base mining yet. Oh no, those Void Rays really scare. I didn't realize he didn't even have a 5th to transfer to. Gets the warp prison there. Normally, you lose a hatchery. As long as you don't lose the drones at this stage, you don't care. But Reynor's economy's really low as well. He's trying to use the healing shrine. That's awesome. But it takes a while to heal them up, and the Stalkers catch those Ultras. They say, that healing shrine is ours, mate. Get out of here. The Ultras are going to have to get out of there. Oh, did he get the hatchery down here with the Zealot drop? Or was it the Void Ray? Oh! Nice Neural Parasite! Big Neural Ambush. The Psystorm goes down, but the Hydras only get wounded by it. He tries to recall into the battle. Oh my god! Mothership survives on 23 hit points. He recalls reinforcements in the battle, defends with Time Warp and Psystorm. She survives. He defends the army. And remember, Reynor doesn't have any bank. He's got to get rid of this army. But, oh my gosh, it's a scary Zerg army. The ground army's going to get wrecked. The Ultraling gets on top. The High Templar and Immortal go down. But the carriers do mostly survive. Hero is only on 63 probes as well, remember, after losing 20 workers. The economy is still kind of not too good for either side. In these sort of situations, you can feel the intensity from Reynor. He needs to retake these hatcheries up top. I know he lost the gold base earlier, but I really thought he'd have these bottom bases up a little bit earlier. As it is, Lings are coming forwards. But that's a beautiful snipe on Hero's 5th base. Really well done. Adrenal Glands is done. He's got 2/2/2 upgrades on the ground, does Reynor. Only +2 attack, +1 plasma shields, and +3 air weapons now for Hero. He's got 2 carriers. He's building more carriers. They won't do much damage to the Ultras, but they will do well against a small number of Hydras, and that's all Reynor has for anti-air is a small number of those 2/2 Hydras. No Overseer either, so the Cloaking Field devastating. You can see the Ultras can tank a lot of carrier damage. It's the Archon and Immortal attacks that they really have to worry about. Ling's running on the right side. The cannon does get taken down, but the Zealot warping as well as the Immortal popping out do hold on. Hero's supply is climbing back up. These Ultras, do they have Overseers with them? He uses Fungal. There's no Overseers. He's using Fungal. Cloaking Field has run out. The Mothership does go down. The Storms clear all the Hydras. He does Neural a Tempest. A lot of the Hydras are going down. The Ultras clearing the ground army, as they are so good at doing, but there's not enough anti-air. And remember, Reynor felt too poor to ever afford a Spire in this game. You might wonder, why didn't he build a Spire? It's because he was very behind in the early stages. He was really shocked by the build Hero did. He was expecting heavier, earlier aggression. Remember, his 4th base wasn't mining for a long time. His Hive was up really late. Without a Spire, he's having to use Hydras in these battles, but Hydras are just not great against carriers unless you've got overwhelming numbers. And the Tempest can also chew them down from very far away as well, which you can see the Tempest will target them, as well as the Queens, because they consider those a threat. Those are anti-air units. They will always target units that can hit you back as the highest priority. Very nicely done. Gets another hatchery. There's a gold base up top, but the Zealots are already on their way. The drones, little do they know that they are heading to a rendezvous with death. They need to turn around. The Zealots get there first. Will Reynor turn back? His army's going to come and try and cover this. Tempest come forward. Oh my god, it's a Tempest harassment squad. You're kidding me. Dude, he's such a D-bag. I love Hero so much. He's such a D-bag, isn't he, guys? The Zealots trying to circle the hatchery. The Ultraling will save the hatchery. At the same time, Tempest are going to snipe this. Dude, you're kidding me. Tempest's actually doing really good damage. Nicely played. Gets an Infestor there. Oh my god. The Hydras need to go to the high ground if he wants to defend this. He can't defend this. Reynor has got to be so tilted. You can see his face. It hasn't quite turned into the Artosis upside down smile. I guess people call that a frown. You guys know that real like cartoon frowny face Artosis gets when he's playing against Protoss. But Reynor's mouth became a straight line for a little bit there. You could tell he's feeling the intensity. He's in a really tough spot. His hatchery survives on 6 hit points. I mean, this is his economy hanging by a thread is this base right here. 3 Immortals are there. 4 Immortals now out. 4 Archons. So he's got a good answer to the 4 Ultras. Tempest Carrier. The only thing he's low on is he's only got 1 High Templar for Storm and Feedback. But his army count is so big, and Reynor, he doesn't have his Ultras here. He loses an Infestor, and it's a full energy Infestor. The hatchery's going to go down. It gets killed, not cancelled. Topside, random Tempest. Oh my god, that's such a BM move. He goes in. The Hydras can't defend it in time. The Tempest locks onto its target. He understands the assignment, and he does take down the base. Not many people send a single potentially sacrificial Tempest to kill a damaged hatchery. But that is one of the hard... He saw that there was Lings and Ultras stopping it, and that Tempest did its job. Reynor's economy was hanging by a thread, and that thread has just been snipped. The game settles for a moment. Only 46 probes for Hero. It is not a great economy for Hero. We got it. I've been talking about REYNOR's economy being bad. I think the problem is the carriers they still don't have a very clear answer. 19 Hydras can do it, but they have to avoid Storm. So he kind of has to clear the High Templar with the Ultras, the Lings, and the Microbial, and then go in with the Hydras. Here we go. Oh, he does catch the army. Can he get a Fungal? He gets a Fungal, but only on the Zealot High Templar. The Microbial Shroud goes down. The Ultra's trying to jump on top of those Immortals. The Immortals run north. The Immortals escape. Good pullback micro into 2 areas by Hero. It's a little fragile, a little sensitive, but keeps the army alive for now. And Mama 2.0, she's back. Bigger, chunkier, and with less shields than ever. Only 200 shields, the modern mothership, but she's got 400 hit points with that 2 base armor, which is really nice. Zealot tries to hold the choke point. Oh, he jumps on REYNOR! REYNOR tries to heal at the healing shrine. He jumps on him with Time Warp Storm. The Immortal Archon butchers him. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for missing the start of that fight. Hero was kind of turtling. I wasn't expecting him to jump on that. I will insta-rewind. Look, REYNOR's like, cool, I'm distracting you with some Lings. We're looking at this. Warps in at the last second. And Hero's like, you know what? Let's go. Time warps the entire army. The units are kind of trapped behind each other. And smashes it. What a great fight there for Hero. Finishes it off. And does tie up the series 2-2. Damn. All right, guys. REYNOR in the top left side of the map. Hero in the bottom right side. Now, apparently, guys, we know Time Warp doesn't affect Ultra's movement speed, but apparently it does also not affect their attack speed. This is according to Kylos in Twitch chat, who is a GM player who's, I imagine, went in and actually hovered over the thing in a Time Warp in Unit Tester and saw there was no modifier. So we trust Kylos. Unlike random Twitch chatters, often people in Twitch chat will be like, yeah, no, I tested it. And I'm like, how'd you test it? And they're like, I opened a random video and I crossed my fingers and hoped. And I'm like, okay, you're just telling me lies? And they're like, yes, I'm telling you lies. But I think we can trust that one. Obviously still good on the Hydras though. Yo-Yo says, I also tested it. I can confirm Kylos' result. Nice. I also checked. It doesn't affect it. Probably should though, says Foxer. Foxer's lying. For those who don't know, Matt Foxer, he's a Terran player and they're untrustworthy. It's just something, you know, culturally about how they're raised. Like, ooh, her gun siege tanks, battle cruisers. It's not his fault. Don't blame him for it, guys. He's just naturally untrustworthy. Can't trust those Terran people. He says, well, Ultra is my least favorite unit in the game, so... Nice. This is another Gate Scout from Hero, guys. Incredibly conservative opening. It shows that he respects the threat of REYNOR doing an early pull, but also, I think it's one of the weaker openings in his arsenal. So, not my fave. I do like the Nexus before Cybercore, of course. It's going to be a 19 Nexus, 19 Cybercore, which is the standard opening these days. Usually then you'll build one more probe and then take a second gas. We'll see if he goes for it. Yeah. One more probe and then 20 gas, or does he go 20 pylon before gas? Because some players do that. Even though it's way earlier than you need the pylon, you don't need the pylon until this is at 18 seconds, which is right now, in order for it to be done in time. Unless you want to chrono probes, which... Hero actually does chrono probes a fair bit here. So if you're doing a full economy build, you're not chronoing adepts, this makes sense. And since... Yeah, I think he'll chrono probes the moment that pylon's finished. So it's done. We should be seeing that chrono already. Busy harassing. Steals a few minerals. Pulls back. I think he might just do this pylon timing every game. Fair enough. Stargate does go up. No chrono on the probes just yet. And now he chronos it. Alright, Hero's just doing hero build orders. What can I say, guys? He does, you know, it's these very slight adjustments that are slightly more optimal for a different path. It's not a huge difference, but it is just kind of funny. Does he do a second chrono as well? Normally you chrono adepts when you block their base, because then they're defending 2 bases. They have to build like 12 Zerglings. It really forces a big response, but this is just a single adept chrono. And otherwise, he has just been chronoing probes on the natural. Queen, Zergling, moving. Adept still, moving around. Oracle. First Oracle opening of the series, guys. I think Hero is really good with his Adept Oracle pressure. I want to see pretty much non-stop Adept production and non-stop Oracle production. At least a 2, preferably 3. I think he's so good at doing that. REYNOR is very good at defending it as well, but I'd love to see just like a mechanical push and pull in the early game, rather than Hero just kind of rushing the third base and this sort of stuff. I want to see that second Oracle chronoed well before the third base. And go, go, go. He hits 150 gas. He starts it. Nice. He doesn't quite have a chrono energy yet. He has it now. I think he'll be pretty obsessed with chronoing oracles. Yeah, he is. He's very focused on the oracles getting out. Okay, I like this build, guys. Very cool build on it. You still get a third bind. It's not like it's not economical at all. I mean, this is an 8-worker start. You still get your Nexus up at about 420, which is a very special timing for a lot of our viewers. 422, technically. Well, what can I say? People who smoke that much marijuana are very rarely on time. Green gets a single hit on it. Oracle's going to go towards the main base. Time is just like... Your, like, perspective on things, man. Good shepherding. I like the way he pulled the drones back. The Oracle's looking for an opening. It's a pretty big path to this third base. Oracles beat Queens. Like, 2 Queens beats 2 Oracles. But it always gets dicey because you don't know how close the other Queens are to coming out. And the Oracles just lost their shield, so now's a very bad time to fight. The Adept Shades have been threatening, but they haven't overcommitted. Behind this, Forge and Twilight goes down. So it's 4 gas, Forge, Twilight. I think +1 Charge Zealot would be really good from here, but he almost always goes Blink in the current meta. And that's one thing which is maybe a tad too predictable. Depths are threatening there. Trying to push the Zerglings back, gaining a little bit of map control while shading to safety. Stalker's clearing the Overlord. He hasn't done any damage yet, though. Reynor's defense has been exceptional, hasn't it? Sorry, guys, I know I'm very hero-focused in this commentary. I just feel like, you know, if you look at the win rates of Protoss versus Zerg recently, it's been like 20%, if even, in pro tournaments. Amongst the very top guys, Heroes lost like many series in a row to all the top Zergs. So there's a big question about, you know, what he can do against a guy as good as Reynor. Sees a very fast 4th base. He knows Reynor's once again being greedy, and Blink is just not the best way to pressure that, especially with these Zergling Hydra heavy styles. I think Charge is much better here. And I think once again, because that Glaive Adept didn't scare Reynor earlier on today, and he's able to kind of just assume. He's like, I've seen a third, I've seen a couple Oracles, not afraid of anything. I can just make 5 Queens, make a bunch of Zerglings, drone up and go straight to Hydras. It's such a greedy build in terms of the tech, but Reynor gets away with it so well, and Hero just can't find a single bit of damage. This has got to be frustrating. Finally, Stasis Traps. Freezing units here, there. Gonna try and get some moist. Freezes a bunch of drones on the natural. Gets a few Queens in the main. That's something. It's not a crazy amount of damage. Unfortunately, he wasn't in his wall off. Oh no, he was not in his wall off. His units were just standing out front. And that is unfortunate. Probes run into the main in the natural. 8 probes go down almost immediately. And he's going to lose. Blink and +1 getting denied there as the pylon goes down. 9 probes even. Reynor up 20 workers. We talked about Reynor in the group stage. His Lings got in early in a game against Trigger. And I said, how does it feel when your Lings get in early against Protoss? Because you looked really quite cheery on the camera when that happened. And he said, oh, it's a free win. You get your Lings in early against a Protoss player like this. You're running them around in circles. They have to pull all their pressure home just to deal with a few Zerglings, and they take economic damage. You just have free reign. You can do whatever you want. And I think this is that same sort of situation. You can see the Blink and the +1 generally just hits a very late timing, and it's a flexible pressure, Blink, and it's good if you force them into roaches. But if you haven't forced them into roaches yet, Blink falls very flat against Ling Hydra. Hero is a wizard. We'll see if he can do anything here, but he's playing from so far behind. He's got a big economy, does Reynor. Perhaps they're going to shade past. Only gets a few drones there. And you can see this, man. It's just such a good spot. Second Evo for Reynor. He's playing pure Hydra Ling, style that Reynor does love to play. A lot of players think it's a little dicey. Blink Micro. Stasis Traps there yet again. Now he's on 4 bases, his hero, and he's building 7 more gateways. That's way more gateways than you can produce out of in regular gateway form. Remember, on 4 bases, if you're building out of 6 gateways, you can build 24 Zealots or Stalkers in 56 seconds with non-stop production, which if you're building Zealots, the cheapest unit available is 2,400 minerals a minute. It's 3 full mineral lines mining. Not to mention pylons, upgrades, everything else. He's taking a 5th base, so of course Hero wants to get to the point where he can support that. You're going to notice these gateways will mostly be idle. And this is one of those little inefficiencies I've been pointing out in Hero, where I'd love to see him min-max his gateway usage just a little bit more. Stalker's trying to blink away here. He's going to have to blink and recall, surely. Lynx. Oh, he's no time to recall. He's just going to take as many Lings with him as he can. I mean, the Oracles kill a lot of Zerglings, but every Stalker goes down. Units lost tab dead even. And when you had a 25 worker lead not too long ago, that looks good for REYNOR. That being said, look at the gateway unit explosion. Look at the supply. And there is no Banelings for REYNOR, which is a huge mistake against a gateway man style. The Mass Zealot is actually incredibly scary. Yes, a ball of Hydras can still beat them, but if you have Banelings in the mix, it's game-changing. Now, Hero needs to max out, and he needs to max out right now. He's not non-stop building units. He's making probes in a mothership. He needs to overwhelm in this big battle that's about to happen, or he will lose. He needs to have masses of units because he is all about numbers. It's not about quality, it's quantity. And right now, REYNOR has both the quality and the quantity. Hero has to be careful. Now, the Zealots will smash the Zerglings. They will get disappeared very quickly. The Guardian Shield will also be amazing. The Oracle's thinking about joining in. They're going to go for it. Does he have enough Zealots? I don't think he does. Man, if he just had about 10 more Zealots come in right now, he'd blitz through those Hydras. As it is, the Stalkers will overwhelm, but it's the counterattack that could cause the GG moment. He doesn't quite break all the Hydras. He's going to recall to the natural. Good handling for now. Hero with the best crisis management in the entire industry. He is playing so many games in this series from behind, and yet he's finding a way. Where there is a will, there's a way, and there is one man who is more dedicated than every other player in the world. You give him a new crazy problem to solve, like the current PBZ, and he goes hard. Unfortunately, the drop in the main got in and killed 23 more probes. This fourth base gets jumped on. Does he have enough Zealots? No, he's trying to build a mothership, but I think he may have gone for the mothership a little bit too early. The Mass Zealot wave comes out. He's trying to overwhelm the Hydras and the Zerglings. In the natural, the probes are getting overrun as well. The Hydra's going to drop back there. Those probes are getting massacred, and I think unless REYNOR can punch onto the... Hero can jump onto the production right now, I don't know if he can break through. The Hydra Ling rally is big. The Lings are getting massacred. They are not good units right now. Desperately needed Banelings a while ago. But the Hydras and the Lings trying to rally together their defense. And I think he has the numbers to do it. He's done so much damage. Oh, he's doing hot pickups with the red hit point Hydras. Trying to play like he's Clem. Guys, look at this. It's Clem in a Zerg Italian skin suit over here. What a friggin' styler. Picking up and dropping the Hydras like a bad dog. Like a bad dog. I don't even know, man. I'm just excited. This series has been so weird. The games have shocked me. My words betray me. I've lost my ability to speak normal sentences or phrases. I'm just making things up. He's like a bad dog. What does that even mean? Either way, I think that's a nice win for REYNOR. It's a shame because I think if Hero was maxed on Zealot Stalker, I actually think he could have defended. Which is kind of crazy to say, but because REYNOR made the mistake of not having Banes, the Zealots were actually amazing units against this. If there's Banes, that's not the case, right? But because he went Mothership and overprobed a little bit, I think Hero just didn't quite have the numbers to man mode this. And remember, that's from him being way behind earlier on. The Zerglings get in for this umpteenth time in this series. Hydras and Overseer will take care of Mama. She's going to go down. The sentries will fall. And that is a lovely victory here for REYNOR, who takes the lead 3-2. Why doesn't he use warp gates? Well, once your warp gate upgrade finishes, your gateways actually produce massively quicker if you leave them in the regular gateway form. It's only 14 seconds to build a Stalker or a Zealot. If you transform them to warp gate, you've got to pay 25 minerals, 25 gas to transform each gateway. And it's only every 22 seconds that you can warp in. So it's actually a lot stronger for constant production to leave them in gateway form. All right, guys, Hero in the bottom right side of the map. REYNOR in the top left. This could be the final game. Hero is going to mix it up, and he's going to block REYNOR's natural. I love to see it. Big thank you, everybody who's been supporting the prize pool. Those watching live, if you're watching after the fact, you want to say thank you. Don't forget to check out our Patreon. Links below in the description. We really appreciate everyone who's over there helping us continue running tournaments like this. We do run these tournaments at a loss, but thankfully the support of the community, appreciating it, can help us continue to run these in the future. And you guys, of course, do help us fund the prize pool as well, so we appreciate you very much for that. All right, drone's going to move over to the third. Gateway and gas is on the way. Hero's going to go into the main base. Now, does he follow this up with double Chrono Adept? Because REYNOR's not had to deal with double Chrono Adept and a blocked hatchery all series long. It's forcing him into a different situation. And he goes actually pool before gas, so his link speed's not going to be super early. This will be, I think, like 4:05. It's probably when link speed finishes off this. I'm not sure of the exact timing. You guys can tell me. I think it's about 405, especially if he doesn't pull 3 workers onto gas immediately. Nice denial on some of those mineral patches. REYNOR gets annoyed, starts attacking the probe. Got a hero wall on the other side of the map. Beautiful hero wall off, guys. Stunning. Some would say fugly, but I wouldn't go that far. Definitely awkward. That's how hero loves to wall off. Awkward wall offs, man. I think to finish this wall, you build like another gateway here later. And then you have a decent choke point. For now, it's a very awkward wall off. It's a full diagonal. No balance winding in the chat, so stop arguing, guys. I'll time you all out. I see you guys just being at each other. Stop it. Queen's going to go for the creep tumor first in the main. No second adept chrono. So very light pressure here, but Pylon is annoying. He's going to have to cancel it. Queen is going to come down. There's more Zerglings on the way as well. But maybe he distracts these Queens long enough they miss some eject timing. And oh, he loses the Pylon! And he doesn't block the hatchery! Oh no, hero botching the opening, guys. The opening pressure doesn't find the mark. Now, to be fair, these Queens are both at 25 energy. They're missing injects right now, which is something. And the Adept's in the main. You know what, hero? He makes a mistake early. He sacrifices some stuff. He slips up, but he creates chaos. And chaos is where he thrives. The Adept running around this main. Big mining time damage. And, unfortunately, he does get surrounded by these Zerglings on the low ground. He'll try and take out 1 or 2 before he goes down. And he will just get 1. Doesn't quite get that next glaive off. Next Adept is here. Didn't chrono this Adept, though, so kind of just walking in at the point where we said Ling Speed was going to finish 405. It finished right on 405. I'm finally learning timings, guys, on the new patch. It's taken a few months, but I'm finally getting there. If they go gas before pool, they can finish about 355, about 10 seconds faster. That does shade backwards here. 2 Adepts in the wall off. He does have to build another pylon to thicken the choke point there. Make it a bit more solid. Second gateway is on the way. He's going to go for the really early 4 gas again. One of the big openings I've been loving is a 2 or 3 gas charge pressure because it's so streamlined on the minerals. One of the big struggles you have is affording the 2 to 3 oracles and the 3rd base and the probes, and yet also putting any pressure on the Zerg. So one of the big advantages Zerg is having right now in PvZ is you'll notice that they're almost purely mineral focused for like the first 5-6 minutes of the game. And that's why there's this whole Adept dynamic I keep talking about, because unless you can put some fear in REYNOR, if he's able to saturate this mineral line on 1 gas, he's only just put back on gas mining just recently. You're kind of trying to juggle, you know, your Twilight, your Forge, Warp Gates. Oh, he's making Warp Gates this game, his hero. Pretty inefficient defensively, but I think he does that because he wants to be able to warp in reactively when Lings run in. There is a reason for it, but it's a very expensive thing to do. 50 minerals, 50 gas, you know? And they do produce a little bit slower. So he warps into Adepts, swaps them back. And remember, the Warp Gate cooldown, sorry, it's not going to recharge while they're now in Gateway mode. But he can now go non-stop Adept production or something like that if he chooses to. Instead, he's going 3rd Oracle, Robo Forge. Done a little bit of damage this game, but he's also lost an Adept and a Pylon that's not been free. And that 3rd base is quite late compared to the other games. So REYNOR's still got that 9 worker advantage. So this is going to be the 3-base Colossus timing again. This is game 1 repeat, right? Except with Oracles instead of a Void Ray start, I think. This feels like the Colossus +1 timing again with Sentries. He'll start going Colossus and he'll swap to Sentry production at some point. He's still built quite a few Adepts. He's got 9 Adepts. Without Glaives, I feel like that's too many. But maybe he can find some magic here. Roach Warren is on the way this time for REYNOR, which will put him in a much better stead. REYNOR, I don't think he's seen anything behind this. He has no idea what the tech is. The Roach Warren, remember, was what he was late to go into Roaches last time against the Sentries, and that's what hurt him. Immortals on the way, Robo Bay as well. Here come the Adepts. REYNOR, he's going to see this. He's got 10 more Lings on the way, and non-Glaive Adepts. Not that useful against this. I feel like if you're constantly pressing with Adepts early, it can find some more damage, but oh, the 4 Oracles! He surrounds the Queens. Brilliant maneuver. Brilliant maneuver. And you know what? The Oracles save the Adepts as well. Oh my lord, the Adept's going to shade in the main. And you know what? All those Adepts are heavily damaged. The Lings are going to kill them all. Oh, those Lings get a good trade. He takes out 3. The Queen and the Roach are going to take out 4 and 5. Oh, it's a shame. The Adepts, I thought they'd get a bit more damage than that. At least he kills the Queens, gets 2 drones. Does force a bit of panic on Reynor's side. But what's he doing behind it? 6 gas. He's back into Warp Gate mode. I definitely feel like the swapping between Warp Gate and Gateway mode, it's really good just for hitting a timing. Or just for defending an all-in, but it almost feels like it's overly fancy. Like, I love that Hero does it, but I can't help but feel like it's not the most efficient way to play Protoss. It looks so cool, though. I feel like he could, if he wasn't bothering swapping back and forwards, I think he'd just have more units, guys. Swapping back to gateways now. He's making sentries. The Oracle's still dancing around with good map control. That's my hunch. There's a lot of unknowns. It's a new season. The craziest patches, one of the weirdest patches Blizzard's ever put out in their lifetime. And yeah, so odd. I mean, he sees what's happening. Reynor's going to play Roach Hydra. Oh, Queen's getting caught. Oh, the Oracle micro. He gets rid of 1 Queen, but the Hydras pop out just in time. If those Hydras didn't pop out, all those Queens could have gone down. So now it's Roach Hydra versus Colossus. Sentry? Are we playing Wings of Liberty, guys? So what's going to happen is Reynor's going to have to come in with big flanks, dropping corrosive biles, and try to overwhelm. Supply is competitive, though. There's no workers on the 4th, or very few, I should say, for Reynor. And it's kind of this weird thing where, because the main base doesn't half mine out for a few more minutes, this situation would be tragic for Protoss without the mineral changes pre-patch. This is one of the things, I guess we saw it a lot more in TVZ, where you'd see a Terran way behind in workers against Zerg, feel like they're a bit far behind, and then there'd be this point where, like, the supply kind of equalizes, and you think, oh, actually, is this closer than we thought it was? Because I thought Hero was kind of far behind at 1 or 2 points, but his army's looking scary. His supply looks good. The Lings aren't going to be useful against the Colossus, but they're good for intercepting the rally, and it's still just a gateway rally, but the Oracles can guard that. Hero's up top. His Oracle's a bit slow to react. His Oracles are not reacting. His Zealot Sentry getting cleaned up. Oh, man, that's a big problem for him. He's taken out the hatchery. The Roach Hydra coming forwards. The Lings clean up all those units. The Oracles are just in his army right now. Oh, his Colossus gets jumped on. He's a bit slow on the force fields. One of his Colossus very low. The Stasis Trap surrounds his army. Roach Hydra loops in from behind. And Reynor gets an excellent fight. Hero. Oh, that was a great surround. He did not expect Reynor to dive on him at that time. Reynor with a spectacular engagement, and Hero's army crumbles. That was a real sloppy one. The Oracles didn't... I think if they were defending the rally from the Lings, maybe he doesn't panic as much, but he didn't have the Stasis Trap set up. He didn't get the force fields down in time. He panicked. He miscontrolled. I have a feel that Hero had the wrong unit selected there. Oh, what an unfortunate fight there. It really felt like... I don't know if he wins the game for sure, but he definitely was not meant to go this way. You can see, I think he got distracted here. He lost so many units to the Lings, which was a real bummer. The Lings avoided those Stasis Traps at home. The Oracles are kind of derping around. And then look at this point. He starts throwing Stasis Traps. Reynor jumps on him. He's not ready. So his force fields are super late. These guys actually trap him with his own Stasis Trap. Oh, such a... And the Roach Hydra is still mostly attacking him, even while he's there. Oh, that's such a bad fight, unfortunately. The Lings on the rally were really good. I think if the Oracles guarded the rally there, I think with Force Fields and Colossus, there's no danger of him getting jumped on. He's adding Disruptors, which would have been such a good addition to this army. Oh, I'm kind of gutted, guys. I really wanted to see a Game 7, but hats off to Reynor. It was a really good fight. We talked about this in Game 1, right? We talked about how if you stay on a really basic army and have a much bigger force, maybe it's better while you're rushing to Hive. He didn't even go for Hive. He was kind of all in 0-0, barely mining off the 4th, because he knew how committed Hero was with this style, and Hero actually had a 1-1 upgrade advantage as well. Long term, Hero could have played this a lot slower, and his army was potentially going to scale better than just a Lair-Tech Zerg army. But in the end of the day, Reynor wins 4-2, and he goes through to the next round. GG, well played. Congrats, man. GG, well played. We had to delay today because there was a storm in your neighborhood. And your internet was down, but thankfully the internet came back. Was it smooth for the rest of the games? I mean, I know I lagged a little bit at one point. Rex lagged a bit at one point. Like, there's been a few people lagging, but other than sometimes the observers or casters lagging, has it been smooth since then?
Yeah, it feels like I gave the storm to you guys. You know, I was not the one lagging anymore, which for once is a nice feeling that I'm not the one lagging. But Yeah, there were some issues, but fortunately not from my side. I'm all I have two types of internet. I have Starlink and another type, and whenever the weather is bad, it's just unplayable, unfortunately. So I like actually crashes down. Yeah. Fortunately, it was like a very short passing by storm, and then pissed off.
No worries, man. I think it's good to have things get smooth. Unfortunately, you had to play your teammate. You guys often play bangers in the previous round, and he did come out on top. Your builds weren't quite coming together. But then to play against Hero, a man where you and Hero have a long history of playing the most chaotic and stressful series, I feel like you look a little more stressed. And I think most people do when they play Hero than when they play most players. Can you tell us what is the experience of playing against Hero in a big best of 7 feel like?
But it feels like well, I'm gonna start off by saying that ZVP right now feels very weird because standard games feel very good for Zerg, but then there's also some builds that you've never seen before, or at least me, I've never seen before, and they can catch you off guard. And Hero is very good at hiding what he does, or like making stuff look like one thing and then it's something else. So overall, towards the end of the series, I was getting pretty triggered because I felt like Hero was doing a lot of stuff that no other Protoss player can get away with. Like on Rorschach, I was getting fucking tilted, I'm not gonna lie. Like he was running around and then recall again, and like he's not losing anything. And I feel like his army is so bad that he should be just getting destroyed. And yeah, it was my mistake because obviously he was kind of outplaying me there. I'm gonna be honest, like with Tempest and stuff. I was smirking because I was like, wow, this guy's so fucking good and he's so fucking annoying, you know? Yeah.
The single Tempest sniping the Reddit point gold actually was quite a funny move.
I was smirking really hard there when I saw the Tempest. I was like, all right, nice, 30 links here. I have vision, and yeah, the one Tempest shows up.
That was a very fun game, man. I mean, a very fun series as well. Like it's yeah, it was so weird. Did you wonder what was happening? Did you immediately watch the replay, the accidental glaives that was meant to be charge on cross map Old Sun Temple? Did you figure out what happened there?
No, I figured he must have messed up something, misclicked something, but I think the build would not have worked either way. I think his +1 was way too late, no? Like,
yes. Yeah, his +1 was late with slow zealots, so if he had speed zealots, they would have got there much quicker.
Yeah, I kept scouting as well, because I was like, what the hell is happening, you know? Like, does he have, like, 2 Stargates hidden somewhere? Yeah, I was very confused, but it's one of those things that just happen against Hero. Sometimes you just get a free win, and you don't really know what happened, and you just move on, you know? You're like, all right, Hero game out of the way. And then sometimes he just snatches a free win from your side, and he just transforms it into a win for him. So it's just how a Hero series goes.
How did you feel on that note about Lockdown? So Lockdown was really funny. He opened Void Ray to deny scouting. He went for a Glaive of Depth Pressure. He broke the rocks, which slowed down his own Glaive of Depth Pressure, but it also made it look like he was turtling and not playing aggressive. And then you just destroyed him with your Queen drop. You were miles ahead. And then suddenly he's just doing this crazy Stalker counterattack, and he almost took you out. Your Roaches didn't have Roach speed. It felt like Hero's the only guy who makes that game look competitive at all. Were you stressed? Were you worried?
Weird. Of course I was worried. It's so weird to read the games against Hero, because then I see like 10 Stalkers chasing me, and then it's 15 Stalkers, and then it's 20 Stalkers, and then there's also third base. Like, you have to be... Like, no other Protoss player does that, you know? Like, no one makes like million Stalkers there and just keeps on going. I feel like people would just try to tech up, do something different, you know, get the third base back again, maybe make a Prism, Fast Storm, something like that. And the Hero is just like, yeah, no, let's just go. And I underestimated this push quite a bit. But once I stabilized, I knew I was kind of cooking him at that point. But it was definitely close, way too close for comfort.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, man. I'm so surprised, because like I always start commentating like, okay, this is why he fell so far behind. This is why so and so didn't work. And then I kind of have to catch myself and go, oh, wait, hold on, it's Hero. You know, there's he's Hero. He's attacking with 12 damaged Blink Stalkers, and there's a Dream. So it's always a scary moment. But I think you got things together very well. Your defense was pretty solid. I feel like right now in ZVP, there's not a lot of fear of the Protoss openings. It feels like a lot of the time you can get away. Bunch of Zerglings, bunch of Queens, and it feels like you got a pretty safe road to like 55, 60 drones, and you know, if we think of previously, I think the things that scare a Zerg is like, oh, glaive adept timing's hitting very sharp, you being forced into early roaches that don't really feel like a good unit. But it feels like there's a relatively smooth path to like melee Zergling, Hydra Bane, or Hydraling, that sort of thing. Do you think that's the main, like, it's kind of like you're getting ahead by that point in the game, and there's just not, it feels like either the timings are too weak or the Protoss players haven't found them yet. Is that kind of the correct analysis, or do you think there's other stuff going on?
I mean, if I can be completely honest here, I think the patch is a dumpster fire, and I think the balance is way off. Yeah, I think if we really want to talk about the balance, which is obviously an issue, but to me it's not the main issue. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because Zerg seems to be quite strong. I just think the patch overall is a dumpster fire. I think TOS is looking very weak. I played 2 games of TOS today, and the openings just feel off. You know, maybe it's not even weak. It's just you have to cut probes when you shouldn't cut probes. You have to. The patch just makes no sense. Like, we should just go back to 12 workers and take it from there, and then implement, like, the warp gate change, for example, is fantastic. It's a lot of fun to see, but it's like a whole other million issues that came with the patch. So it's impossible to balance the game.
There's like 300 mineral command centers bouncing around. There's lava changes that have changed 4 times, right? It's too much going on. I think there's pretty big consensus from the community. Rewind to the previous patch and do the gateways and do a bunch of other fun changes as well, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I don't think people are too controversial on, where it's like, try to make the Ravager morph a bit faster, make some Ravager timings a bit faster, you know? Buff as many aggressive openings as possible with specific tech changes.
You know, it's
right?
impossible to actually implement cool changes if you spend months fixing the economy issue, which makes no sense. Like, we've tried it, whatever, you know. It was a good attempt. Clearly doesn't work because most people don't like it. Pros completely stopped playing the ladder. Like, ladder is as dead as it's ever been. So I'm just, please, guys, let's revert to 12 worker. We know it works. We've been doing it for years, and take it from there. Go crazy, go bananas, just change. Like the patches mod, for example. I'm gonna shout out the patches mod real quick. This is so much fun. Not much changed. It's like random changes, and they make sense, and they're fun to play with. And let's just do that, you know, stuff like that. It's really not that complicated. But yeah, I think
the thing is, like, I think we're all so happy to see big changes that maybe we're all a bit more positive about it than otherwise we would have been. Obviously, we don't want to get too derailed talking about the patch, but I think one of the big things that's happened is we've kind of gone, okay, this will be okay. Like, a lot of the early videos from all the content creators, a lot of the pros talking, and everyone was like, oh, if they like really quickly patch and iterate and adjust these things. But we had about a month on the PTR with no changes. Then it went to live, and there was like changes that were very quick, I think, in the first 2 weeks, right? But I think a lot of us kind of go, wait, what's happening now? Like, you know, the warp gates cost money, but it's on, you know, the upgrade is on the gateway at first, and then it's like, oh, the 300 mineral command center, the lava change is being tried to change 4 times. We're just going to make gateways build really fast, but we're not going to help the warp gate side of builds. It felt like the changes were a little incoherent, and also some of them kind of were at odds with the stated goals, I think, right? Where it's like, let's slow the pace down a bit, but then let's speed the pace up in other ways, which made things really weird.
Yeah, the thing is, like, some of these ideas make sense, and they're a lot of fun to play with, such as the warp gate change, the larva change. It feels new and it feels kind of fresh. But then, when you want to go crazy like this with the changes, such as economy change, you give it a test, and then clearly it doesn't work, and you go back. You know, it should be like this. You know, you can't get stuck on a version that no one wants to play. But yeah, I don't want to derail too much on the patch. I just wanted to say my piece.
No, that's all good. I think. I mean, this is it's like you just look at when you make big dangerous changes, there has to be an ability to quickly adjust and listen to the community and adapt and adjust. And that clearly hasn't been displayed. And I think as a result, we're all kind of in the mindset of like, either please just like copy things that are already heavily tested from the Patches mod. He's working with GreenEarth. GreenEarth kind of tests really crazy things, and then him and Patches work together, and Patches over time has made his mod a little bit more radical as things get tested and worked out. Add some of those things, go for it, but there has to be a bit more direction in it, right? Where I think the gateway changes were so massive, and it's made it so much harder for Protoss than it has the other factions. And, you know, I think we're seeing pros in general quite annoyed with the direction, but I think especially for Protoss players, it's been very hard to kind of relearn all the builds in the whole game.
Yeah,
on 8 workers really and with your main tech being taken away. I just think, like, one of these changes is monumental. To do both at the same time is incredibly unfair to Protoss players. So, like, I think, do you agree? I think we're all really proud of the performance Heroes put on in this tournament. Zound's playing on it, tomorrow as well. I think we're pretty impressed with how well they've adapted, because I think they have a ton more relearning to do than the Terrans and Zergs. Is that fair?
Yeah, obviously it kind of feels like it shifted from this to this. Because in the previous patch, if they were solid and get to the late game in an even position, most of the time they would win. But now it feels like it's shifted completely, and they have to catch you off guard, which is really hard for pros to do. So it takes a little bit of inventive and just catching the opponent off guard, which you can't do all the time. So yeah, of course, like Hero played well, and I do feel like maybe if he doesn't let the links in a few times, he would have probably won the series, because I kept getting W's off of that, which is classic Hero. But yeah, he played very well for sure.
Even the Colossus build game 1, he moved out and he starts putting like multiple stasis traps in his entrance, and I'm like, why doesn't he just build a pylon in the wall? Like, he's setting up because he knows this is a threat, and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna leave the door wide open. And I was like, no.
On Eternity, I don't know if you saw it, but he actually had units in the wall, and I just he wasn't all positioned.
Oh,
so I just baited them out and I went in.
I didn't catch that. I only saw just after when you were getting in. Yeah. GG, well played though, man. I think it's good to let those thoughts out. Obviously, there's a lot of angst in the community right now, and I guess while we have such a public platform and have you on the call, it's good to talk about it. Yeah, I think there's, a lot of us were on the fence and kind of going, oh, let's see what happens. And I think the consensus is kind of out. Hopefully they patch before BlizzCon. And I think another thing, while we're talking about it, your interview is just now a balanced interview, apparently. The work account, I heard a rumor on Reddit. I don't know if it's true. Apparently there was a leak saying that the work account, they might change it again. I think there's only two options. You either stay with 8 workers and you really iron it out and you fix a bunch of, you got to make crazy changes, or you go back to 12. And I think most people are tending, go back to 12, focus on the other changes, hone in on the warp gate thing, make it smoother, let's balance it out. I initially think the coolest way to do warp gate changes is you don't need to punish warp gate. You can just make gateway better and give that as an alternate playstyle. Like, generally as a patch philosophy, there's like a game design thing. Don't take away people's toys as much as you can, right? Like, why do warp gates need to cost money? You could make gateways like a really strong option, but you don't have to like necessarily make the warp gates cost more money as well. They can just produce as a slower option. Like, there's basically try to be a bit more focused in terms of what you want to do. But I think most people are tending towards revert to 12. I think if they were to change the work account again, say to 4 or 6 or 9 or whatever the number is, that would be the worst outcome. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think if I see another worker change that's not 12, I'm gonna go cry in a corner. It makes zero sense. But talking about the warp gate changes, the change is actually good. The problem about ZVP is the 8 worker count, because Protoss builds just feel so off. But if we go back to 12 and keep the warp gate change as it is, I think it's very, very good, because I have a crap ton of stuff when they're going gateway pushes. Like in the first game, Hero had like 160 supply, which was insane at that timing. So I just think the literally entire problem is 8 workers, go back to 12, test some cool shit, see how it goes. I think the community is gonna love it. We all love this game at the end of the day, that's why we're here. We just want the best for it. Just go back to 12, test out a bunch of cool shit. But the problem is, go back on it. If it's too crazy, just go back on it and test some more.
100%. So the thing is, like, one of the biggest costs of changing something fundamental like that is it breaks everyone's build orders. It gives everyone a big, like, extra learning curve that people don't necessarily agree to, right? It just happens, I've got to relearn my openings, which is what everything else flows from. But it's not just that, it's also, like you said, the cadence of the builds is different. I personally don't mind that the builds are a bit uncomfortable. I kind of like the choices you're making. Oh, do I prioritize this or that, right? The build doesn't flow. I kind of like that I have to prioritize this or that. But it's a point of tension, and it's a point of tension that you need to learn and overcome, and it's difficult and it's challenging. You can, like, if you're going to make a change like that, even the initial change, I was shocked they made the 8 worker change. I'd made videos talking about it. People told me they were going to be doing these changes. And then I was like, okay, well, let's, and people kept asking me about it. They're like, what about those, you did these tests a year ago. I made a video talking about it. One of the big things I said is like, I think it's really fun. I was obviously like, I think 8 workers would be really fun. But if you make it, you got to keep in mind, this is going to be like an off-ramp for people because they got to relearn builds. It's going to be a struggle for them. And like, you can't mess around with it. Like, it's a big change and you need to work really hard to make sure it's balanced and stuff. because people are going to have to put in a lot of work to relearn their builds. So if you do this for 3 months, however long it's been, and then there's a patch after BlizzCon or whatever, and you change the work account again, that's like, it fails to understand the entire weakness of making a fundamental change in the first place, which is it's going to reset a ton of people's builds, and that is a problem. That's a big negative for a lot of people, right? So I know I'm just monologuing now a little bit, but I think changing the work account again, I hope that's just a rumor. I hope it's incorrect, because I think the community is very united. If they were to change it to 10 or 4 workers or whatever the number is, it's like with where the game is, it's just crazy, right?
It just makes no sense. That's not the issue. Just go back to it. I mean, I can't say it if I've said my piece already. Like, we tried it, we gave it a shot, but it's just ass, like, that's the thing. Like, it's not challenging. Like, yeah, maybe at first you could figure it out, but now that everything's figured out quite a bit, and like in your build you have to include cutting workers or this and that, like, it's just to get your bait, like to your Nexus or whatever, it just feels like shit, that's the thing. And yeah, so
speaking of arse, you said the patch is arse, but speaking of arse, how do we feel about Swarm Queens? I saw you there, Big Booties got stuck behind the mineral line the other day, so are you enjoying the Swarm Queens though on Patches mod? I think they're really fun.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're a bit, they're very good in the early game, but I think like there's something wrong with the hotkey between queens and swarm queens, and it's really hard to maneuver them around, I feel like, when you have them together. But they're very good to hold like hellbot pushes and stuff like that. But they do feel a little bit clunky, but for sure they're very good. They're a lot of fun. But my favorite part is Infested Terran and Swarmost.
Awesome. I do love that as well. Yeah, it's really cool. For those who don't know, obviously we're talking about Patches mod. I believe is it every Monday, the weekly tournament for that at the moment?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that's obviously over on Rotterdam stream is the main stream for it, sponsored by Patches and the guys over at Vespine GG. It's a really fun mod with a ton of different upgrades and changes. There's a lot of things that just add depth to the late game. If you're a Zerg fan, you can get +9 damage versus armored units for Mutalisks at Hive Tech. You can get roaches become 1 supply on Hive Tech. There's a bunch of cool things like that where Hellions can move and shoot, and all these crazy changes for all different races, which just add a huge amount of variety. And I think the cool thing about it is that it feels like there's so many new toys for everyone to play with, and it feels like everyone kind of has overpowered things to lean into. And as a result, there's almost a balancing through imbalance, right? If there's so many things are broken, you got a lot of options, it feels like it's fun for everyone to figure out. It also feels like you're both making massive changes, which is going to keep it fresh for a long time, and it's slower for things to be figured out that they're in balance. Do you agree at the moment, or do you think there's some things that are still super broken in it if you guys play a bit more?
I think it's fairly balanced, to be honest, from what I've seen. It's a lot of fun to play with the new stuff. Obviously, I think the moment it gets everything figured out, I think there'll probably be some imbalance. Like, for instance, I think Zerg has the dropper lords, which are not very utilized right now, but I'm pretty sure you could make some funky shit happen, because the dropper lords are on Evo Chamber again in the Patches mode. So I think if you really study a build and just abuse, I think it's probably OP. I'm not too sure, but as I said, for now it feels like very fresh, just figuring stuff out and seeing all these new changes. But to be honest, I don't think the matchups are too one-sided.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's
fairly balanced. Yeah.
I think skill is such a big part in StarCraft as well. So as long as everyone's having fun, there's also going to be and there's lots of options. People are going to find ways to win. But at the moment, on the ladder, if people are not as active at the high levels, and people are frustrated and angry and don't have a lot of enjoyment, then that in of itself is a patch not going well. And there are clear metrics there for that. So hopefully we get that reversion or something like that sooner rather than later. Overall, though, dude, this was a banger series. I kind of should have asked you a bit more about the series, but we kind of got sidetracked. Were there any questions from anyone in chat? You guys let us know. On Rorschach, yeah, we talked about that one. We didn't see any Mutalisks from you today. What's going on? Why didn't we get any Mutalisks, mate? Are you a hater?
I made them on lockdown.
Oh, right. You finished the game with the Mutas, didn't you? It's just he distracted you earlier with the crazy Stalker counter push and stuff. So it took you a while to squeeze them out, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I felt like he was being very aggressive, so it was hard to squeeze Muralisks in.
Indeed. Yeah, it's obviously very dangerous when you do as well. But overall, pretty good play, man. I feel like you played off your vibes pretty well. You handled Hero's Chaos quite reasonably as well. And you found respect for the new Colossus that does a bit more damage to your roaches. Actually, did you know the Colossus does more damage to roaches and banelings and queens and stuff now?
Yeah, I knew it got buffed.
Oh, so you and several. Is there a new? Did the Basilisk coaches enact a new after home story card? Is there a new line in your contract? Has to actually read the patch notes now before playing a tournament.
Pretty much. No, not really. It's just I heard rumors on the street that the Colossus is really OP, so I went and checked it out myself a little bit.
Oh, okay, nice. All right, well, we might see the return of maybe Protoss REYNOR in some tournaments and stuff in the future if the you know, you're having some fun with it and the balance goes back maybe. You know, I know Clem's not playing Protoss at the moment. Do you think we'll ever see the return of Protoss REYNOR?
Maybe. It depends on the future changes, and depends if I enjoy it as well. You know, it's all about that. The moment I start to enjoy it, the moment I'll grind it a little bit.
No worries. Yeah, you just disappeared. It's cool. It is what it is. Disappearing into the void. You're still here. We can hear you. It's just your invisibility cloak came on, apparently. It might snap back. Hopefully it will. Anyway, thanks so much for the interview, dude. We're going to see you, of course, in a couple days. Just taking a quick look at the bracket as you teleport back into reality. Let's take a look at this bracket. So, you are going to... You've just won this match, which means you cross over. You're going to play the winner of Zaun and Solar in the semifinals. Who are you hoping to play in that matchup?
Oh, the winner, yeah. Ideally Zaun, because I don't like playing against Solar and ZVZ. So, yeah. Don't think it's going to happen, though, to be honest.
Yeah, you think Solar's very good in ZVP right now, and Zaun's got some good timing attacks, but that looks like a really tough matchup, right?
Yeah. I would favor Solar quite a bit right now.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing that potentially. I think you guys always have a good showdown, and no doubt it should be a fun match. Thanks so much for your time, dude. I hope there's no more storms destroying your internet 2 days from now. So tell Italy to have some good weather, and we'll see you in 2 days for the semis.
I'll do my best. All right. Thank you, mate. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, man. Laters. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed those games. If you guys want to go the extra mile to support the channel, help us run big events like this, one of the best ways you can do that is actually going ahead and checking out some cool stuff over on our Patreon. Of course, we've got a bunch of exclusive rewards and perks there based on the different tiers you sign up for, and it's just a great way to support the channel. So go over there, click on that, and check it out. We'll put a link about here. Special thanks to everyone here on the Wall of Bacon who already is supporting the channel, as well as anyone if you've supported it in the past. We still appreciate that very much. But for now, a special thanks to Peden, Dragos, Aranoko, HR, Conductors of the D-Town Express. Conductors? Oh my god, conductors! Conductors of the D-Town Express. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.